Imagine a capital city, and we're talking about the year 2026 here, where you just cannot find a single skyscraper. Not one. There's actually a law against it.
It's incredibly rare, almost unheard of in that region.
It is unheard of. Now, picture a coastline that looks like, I don't know, like Norway somehow crashed into Mars.
Yeah.
You've got these jagged volcanic fjords, this really dark rock, just dropping straight into turquoise water. But then someone cranked the thermostat up to 40 degrees Celsius.
And it's quiet. That's a thing that people really don't expect, the silence.
Right, exactly. Imagine a place where crime is statistically non-existent. I mean, we're talking close to zero, and this is a huge but. If you don't rent a car, you're basically stranded in that heat.
Yeah.
This isn't Dubai. It's the anti-Dubai.
It really is. The whole sensory experience is just on a different planet. In Dubai, you smell, expensive perfume and recycled air conditioning. In Muscat, even in 2026, it smells like burning frankincense and sea salt. It sounds like silence. And that silence is only broken by the call to prayer echoing off these incredible mountains. It feels ancient and slow and undeniably heavy.
But I think the question we have to answer today, for you listening, is this. Is slow just a polite word for boring? Or is this the quiet sanctuary that we're all, frankly, desperate for right now?
That is the tension. That is exactly the question we need to dig into.
So today we are doing a deep dive into Muscat, Oman. This is the Middle East's big hidden gem, according to, well, every travel influencer on your social media feed right now.
Right.
But I've been looking at the numbers, the logistics, the maps you send over, and honestly, I'm seeing some major hurdles for the average traveler.
It is not an easy city. It's
Yeah.
not. It absolutely rewards patience, but it will punish a lack of planning severely.
We have, I think, 3 contrarian surprises just to kick this off. 1, the city center. Well, it doesn't really exist. 2, it is significantly more expensive than you think. There's this currency illusion going on that we really need to warn you about.
Oh, absolutely.
And 3, you might actually hate the food if you don't know specifically where to look and, crucially, when to eat.
And we have to address the one major downside that can completely ruin a trip, that heat-to-activity ratio. It's a real problem.
So let's look at the ledger. Let's really set the scene for 2026.
Well, to understand Muscat, I think you have to look at where travel is right now. You've got the over-tourism wars in Europe just peaking. I mean, you can hardly move in Rome. Venice has a cap on visitors. Travelers are just desperate for space, for quiet.
And the algorithms have noticed?
The algorithms have definitely noticed. They've been pushing Oman hard as the Norway of Arabia or, the Switzerland of the Middle East.
I see those tags everywhere. Switzerland of the Middle East. What does that even mean in this context?
Well, I think it's meant to imply neutrality, mountains, and safety. And to be fair, Oman has all 3 of those things. But it sets up a very dangerous expectation, especially about the climate and maybe most importantly, the walkability.
Okay, let's start there with the geography, because that was the first thing that really confused me in the research. I pull up Google Maps, I type in Muscat, and I start to zoom out. And it keeps zooming out.
It's a sprawl, a total sprawl.
It looks like it stretches forever along the coast.
It does. We're talking about 50 kilometers, maybe even more now. It's basically a long, thin city that's been sandwiched between the Gulf of Oman on one side and the Al Hajar Mountains on the other.
So if you're trying to visualize this, is it kind of like Los Angeles? Is that a fair comparison?
That is actually a great comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of it like a very narrow, very long LA, but with absolutely no high-rises. It's just a series of distinct neighborhoods that are all connected by this one massive multi-lane highway, the Sultan Qaboos Highway.
So you can't just, walk downtown.
Because there is no downtown. That's the first shock for most people.
Yeah.
They land, and they're expecting that Aladdin fantasy. They want to walk out of their hotel, stumble onto some cobblestone street, find a bustling souk, maybe a magic carpet shop.
And what do they find instead?
Instead, they walk out of their hotel, and they're facing a highway barrier or a strip mall. I mean, if you tried to walk from the famous Mutra Corniche to the Royal Opera House, you would probably die of heat stroke. It's a 20-minute drive, and that's at 120 kilometers an hour.
Wow. Okay, so that is a crucial distinction. The expectation shouldn't be city break. It should be more like road trip.
Precisely. You inhabit Muscat the way you inhabit a suburb. You're always in your little bubble, your car, your hotel, the mall, and you just hop between those bubbles.
Which brings us back to those anti-Dubai vibes. You mentioned the skyline.
Yes, and this is fascinating. There's a long-standing rule. It's changing a little bit in some of the newer outer zones, but it generally holds true that buildings should not be taller than the minarets of the mosques.
So it just stays low.
It stays low, it stays white, and it stays humble. It's an aesthetic choice that really comes from the very top. The idea is that the mountains are the masterpiece. The architecture shouldn't be competing with God's creation.
That sounds very serious.
It is a serious place. Muscat is serious. It's not a party town. There's no glitz. If you go to Dubai, all the buildings are screaming, "Look at me, look at me." In Muscat, the buildings are sort of whispering, "Welcome."
But that lack of glitz, I mean, does that make it feel provincial?
Yeah.
A bit boring?
Compared to Dubai or Doha? Oh, absolutely. It feels like a very large, very wealthy, provincial town. There's no nightlife to speak of. It is not a digital nomad hotspot where everyone's networking in cool cafes.
So it's a place for grown-ups then.
It's a place for grown-ups who have rented a 4x4 and are very comfortable with their own thoughts.
Okay, let's talk about the sensory experience of that environment. You said Norway crashed into Mars. Let's unpack that.
Well, if you look at the geology, a lot of the rock there is exposed mantle. It's this dark, ophiolite rock, and it just soaks up the heat. So visually, you have this incredibly stark contrast, black, jagged mountains, then these clean, white, geometric buildings, and then the deep blue sea. It's stunning, but it also looks
On
hostile.
the Mars part of that.
Yeah.
That's the heat.
The heat is a physical weight. We need to be very, very clear about this for anyone even thinking of booking a trip. Even in winter, and I'm using air quotes here, we're talking November to March, the sun feels heavy.
What kind of temperatures are we talking, realistically?
We landed in February, which should be the absolute best time to go. It was 29 degrees Celsius, so what is that? Roughly 84 Fahrenheit. But the UV index is just off the charts. You step out of the air-conditioned airport, and it feels like someone just threw a hot, wet blanket over your entire body.
And that heat, I imagine, dictates the entire rhythm of the city. You mentioned this politeness versus empty dynamic.
Yes, and this is the simulation feeling you get. Because it's so hot and because everyone drives, the streets are just empty of people. You can look down a pristine 4-lane boulevard lined with perfect petunias and neem trees, and you will see 0 humans walking.
It feels like a computer rendering.
It does. It's spotless. There's no litter, no graffiti, but there's also no people. It's eerily quiet. And the people you do interact with, the Omanis, are incredibly polite. This is not the frantic, chaotic energy of Cairo where everyone is shouting and honking. It's hushed.
Polite can sometimes be a nice way of saying sleepy, though.
It can be sleepy, especially in the afternoon. Listeners absolutely need to know about the siesta culture.
How serious are we talking?
Oh, it is total. Between about 2.0 p.m. and maybe 7.0 p.m. in the evening, the city is effectively closed. The small shops pull down their metal shutters, the souqs are dead, people go home, they eat their main meal, and they rest.
So if you're the American tourist who's, trying to maximize every second of your day, you head out at 3:00 p.m.
You are the only person outside, and you are sweating profusely.
Sure.
It's actually a great time to visit the malls if you just want some AC, but do not expect any kind of street life. It's gone.
All right, let's move on to the logistics of arrival. We've established the vibe. Now we're landing. MCT Muscat International Airport.
It's probably one of the best airports in the world right now, and I don't say that lightly.
High praise. Is it better than Changi? Better than Doha?
For efficiency, yes, absolutely. It's silent. The ceilings are incredibly high, beautiful Islamic geometry everywhere. You just glide through immigration. There are rarely queues. It really sets the tone for that quiet luxury aspect of Oman.
Okay, so we glide through immigration, we grab our bags, now we face the first real hurdle. Transport. You said earlier, wheels are mandatory.
Mandatory. I cannot stress this enough. If you do not rent a car in Muscat, you are going to have a bad time. A very expensive, very sweaty, bad time.
What about the bus? I saw online there's a system called Masalat.
It exists, and it's clean, it's modern, the buses are red, they're air-conditioned. But think about that 50-kilometer sprawl we just discussed. If you're staying at a hotel in Al Khawar and you want to go to a restaurant in Mutra, the bus might come once every 45 minutes. And the bus stop is probably a 15-minute walk from your hotel.
In 40-degree heat.
Exactly. A 15-minute walk in Muscat is not a leisurely stroll. It is an ordeal. So you just end up taking taxis everywhere, which will absolutely kill your budget. We'll get to that later.
So, okay, we're renting a car. What kind of car are we getting? Do I need that massive Land Cruiser I see in all the photos? Just for the city?
For the city itself, no, not at all. A little sedan is totally fine. The roads are perfect tarmac. I mean, they're better than most U.S. roads. But, and this is a big but, If you plan to do any of the mountain driving, which you absolutely should, you need a 4x4, non-negotiable.
Okay, so we're in the car, we're driving down that big Sultan Qaboos highway, and this brings us to what you called the speed camera trap.
This is a game you do not want to play, and you will lose. Oman loves its speed cameras.
How frequent are we talking here?
Every 2 kilometers, it is relentless. You'll see a tall gray pole on the median strip, and then, like clockwork, 2 kilometers later, there's another one.
They don't flash at you.
They do not flash. That's the insidious part. In Europe or the US, you get that blinding white light so you know you messed up. Here, nothing. You just keep driving, happy as a clam, thinking you're getting away with it. Until 2 days later when you're checking out of your hotel, and the rental car company hands you a bill for $300 in fines.
That is terrifying. So what is the strategy? How do you avoid this?
Cruise control is your best friend, seriously. If the limit is 120, you set that cruise control to 119. Do not risk 121. They have very little tolerance. And use Waze. The Waze app is highly, highly effective in Muscat in 2026. It knows where every single camera is.
That's a great tip. What about the actual driving culture? Is it aggressive?
Yeah.
Chaotic?
It's assertive. I think that's the best word. It's fast. People drive very fast. But it's not chaotic like, say, India or Vietnam. People stay in their lanes. They signal. It's orderly.
Yeah.
But if you are in the far left lane, the passing lane, and you are only doing the speed limit, a giant white Land Cruiser will appear in your rearview mirror out of nowhere doing 160, and it will flash its high beams at you.
The Omani kiss.
Exactly. The local term for it. Just get out of the way. Don't try to be a road cop. Just move over.
All right, let's talk connectivity. It's 2026.
Yeah.
I need to be able to upload my photos of the Mars landscape.
Oh, you'll have no problem. 5G is everywhere. And I mean everywhere. We had full 5G service on top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere. It's actually incredibly impressive.
So do I need to bother with buying a physical SIM card at the airport?
You can. There are kiosks for the main providers, Omantel and Ooredoo, right as you exit customs. It's pretty cheap, about 5 to 8 Omani reals for a decent tourist data pack. So that's what, 13 to 20 US dollars. But honestly, just get an eSIM like Airalo or Holofly before you even land. It connects the second you turn off airplane mode. It's seamless.
Okay, one last gear check before we get into the money. The plugs, the power outlets.
It's British. Type G, the big one with the 3 rectangular pins. Don't forget your adapter. So many people forget that.
And hiking shoes. I mean, even if I'm just a casual walker and not a serious trekker.
Yes, absolutely yes. The terrain everywhere off the pavement is loose rock. It's called scree. Even if you just park at a scenic viewpoint and walk 50 meters to the edge of a cliff, you are walking on sharp, loose, volcanic rock. Flip-flops will get you a nasty cut.
Okay, let's open the wallet. This is a part that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. The economics of Muscat. You mentioned a currency shock.
The Omani Rial, OMR. It is, I believe, usually the 3rd strongest currency in the world. It's pegged to the US dollar, but the peg is brutal. One single Omani Rial is worth about $2.60 USD.
Oof, that math is painful to try and do in your head constantly.
It is, and it plays a psychological trick on you. You'll go to a nice coffee shop, you order 2 lattes and maybe a croissant. The bill comes, it says 5.570.
And you think, oh, $5.50, that's cheap. That's like a Starbucks in Ohio.
Exactly. You hand over a 5 real note. It looks like a $5 bill. It feels like a small denomination in your hand. But you have just spent nearly 15 US dollars on 2 coffees and a pastry.
Ouch! So you just bleed money slowly without even realizing it.
You do. The notes are small, but the value is huge. You have to constantly be multiplying by 2.6 in your head for every single purchase.
So let's break this down. Let's create some budget bands. Who can actually afford this place? Let's start with the classic backpacker, the 22-year-old with a huge backpack and a very small budget.
Honestly, I would tell them to book a flight to Sri Lanka or Egypt instead.
It's that bad for them.
It's just poor value for money for that demographic. There are a few hostels now, mostly in Mutra, but the transport just kills you. If you can't afford a rental car, you are stuck. You can eat cheap, for sure. The Indian coffee shops, shawarma stands, that's all very affordable. But you can't get to the beautiful places, the wadis, the beaches, without spending a fortune on taxis. You end up feeling very isolated in a very hot city.
So it's not a find yourself on $10 a day kind of Southeast Asia destination.
Not at all. It's the opposite.
Okay, what about the mid-range traveler? A couple, maybe on a honeymoon or a baby moon, something like that.
This is the sweet spot. This is who Oman is for. If you have a budget of about, say, $150 to $200 USD per day for the 2 of you, you can have an absolutely amazing time.
And what does that kind of budget get you?
That gets you a solid 4-star hotel or a really nice service department in a good neighborhood like Al Kuwair. It comfortably covers the rental car, which is about $40 to $50 a day for a decent sedan. And it covers gas, which is the one cheap thing there.
How cheap is gas?
It's heavily subsidized by the government. It's about 70 cents a liter. So filling up the tank is the one time you actually feel rich in Oman.
And the luxury traveler, the person with an unlimited budget.
Well, the sky is the limit. You have world-class resorts like the Chedi or the Al Bustan Palace. You're looking at $600 to $1,000 a night easily.
Yeah.
But you are paying for absolute silence, pristine private beaches, and a level of service that basically treats you like royalty.
But we need to talk about the hidden costs, the little things that add up, the gotchas.
3 big ones come to mind immediately: water, taxes, and alcohol.
Water.
Really? You're in a desert. You need to be drinking 3 to 4 liters of water a day, minimum. You can't really drink the tap water. I mean, it's desalinated, so it's technically safe, but it doesn't taste great, and it's missing minerals. So you're constantly buying big bottles of water. It seems small, but it adds up over a week.
And taxis. We touched on this.
If you do get stuck without a car, you need to use the app Otaxi, which is like their Uber. It's cheaper than hailing one on the street. But even then, a 20-minute ride is still going to cost you around $15 USD. Do that a few times a day and your budget is shot.
And finally, alcohol. This is the big one. The sin tax.
It is a Muslim country, so alcohol is available, but only in licensed hotels and restaurants, and they tax it very, very heavily. If you want a simple beer by the pool, it is going to be $12 to $15 US. A cocktail, you're looking at $20. Easy.
Wow. So if you're a couple that enjoys a glass of wine or two with dinner, you need to budget an extra $100 a day just for that.
Easily. Or you do what all the expats do. You hit the duty-free shop at the airport when you land. You have a very generous allowance. You buy your bottle of gin there, and you have a drink on your hotel balcony before you go out.
That is a pro tip right there. All right, let's move to strategic planning. You've identified some common traps for us, places where people really mess up their itinerary. Trap number 1 is a location mistake.
The old Muscat trap.
But Old Muscat sounds so charming. That sounds exactly like where I'd want to stay.
It sounds like the place to be, I know. But geographically, Old Muscat is really just the area with the Sultan's Palace and the National Museum. And it's tucked away into this little protected cove. It's beautiful to visit during the day. But at night, it is a complete ghost town. There is literally nothing open.
No cafes, no restaurants for dinner.
Maybe 1 or 2 extremely expensive tourist-focused spots in the hotels there. But no life, no locals, nothing. If you book a hotel there, you will be driving 20 minutes every single night just to find a place to eat.
So where should we be staying? Give us the specific neighborhood names to plug into the booking sites.
You want to be central to the highway. Look at hotels in Al Kuwair or Shadi Al Quorum.
And why there specifically?
Al Kuwair is where the real modern city is. It's where you'll find hundreds of restaurants, shisha cafes, the local malls. It's a bit gritty in parts, but it's alive. Shadi Al Quorum is a bit more polished. It's by the main city beach near the Opera House. It's more walkable, and I use that term loosely. It has the nice coffee shops, both the international ones like Starbucks and the cool local roasters. It just feels more social.
Okay, that's noted. Al Khwar or Shadi. What is trap number 2?
The Friday shutdown.
We touched on the afternoon siesta, but Friday is a different beast entirely.
Friday is the holy day. It's the day of Jumu'ah prayer. Between roughly 11:00 a.m. and 1:00 p.m., everything stops. And I mean everything. The supermarkets close, the gas stations sometimes reduce their staff to 1 person. The souk is completely shuttered.
So do not plan your big grocery run for Friday at noon.
Do not. The strategy for Friday is this. Go to nature. Wake up early, drive to a wadi, drive out to a beach, be in nature while the city prays. Then, around 2:00 p.m., the malls all open up and the city slowly comes back to life for the weekend.
Okay, trap number 3. And this one sounds genuinely dangerous.
It is. The wadis.
These are the beautiful dry riverbeds with the emerald pools that you see all over Instagram.
They are stunning. Some of the most beautiful places on earth. Emerald green water, white limestone canyons. But if there is any rain at all in the forecast, even just a little bit of rain predicted up in the mountains, You do not enter them.
Flash floods.
The mountains are pure rock. They don't absorb any water. So any rain that falls funnels instantly into these narrow canyons. It becomes a literal wall of water moving at incredible speed. People die every single year. They think, oh, I have a big Land Cruiser, I'll be fine. You are not fine. Your Land Cruiser will be tossed around like a toy boat.
That is a very serious warning. Check the weather app religiously. If it says rain, go to the mall instead.
Go to the museum, go to the mall, stay out of the canyon.
Let's pivot to something a bit lighter, but just as important. The social landscape. The culture. Is it safe?
It is. Confusingly safe.
Confusingly, what do you mean by that?
I mean, you spend your first few days constantly waiting for the scam. You're waiting for the pickpocket. You're on high alert, and it just never happens. I have a story about this. I was with a local Omani friend, and we parked the car to run into a shop for a minute. I had my camera bag on the front seat. It's about $2,000 worth of gear. And I instinctively went to lock the car door.
Of course. Muscle memory.
And my friend stopped my hand. He actually laughed at me. He said, "What are you doing? Why are you locking it? Nobody takes things here."
Wow. And you left it unlocked?
I left it unlocked with the bag in plain sight. We came back 20 minutes later. The car was there. The bag was there. It forces you to completely deprogram years of built-up traveler paranoia.
Is that a result of a heavy police state? Or is it something deeper, more cultural?
It's deeply cultural, and it comes from Abadism, which we mentioned briefly at the start. We should probably explain this a bit because it really defines the entire vibe of the country.
Okay, yeah, lay it out for us. Ibadism.
So Oman is neither Sunni nor Shia, which is unique in the region. The majority of Omanis follow Ibadism, which is a very old, very distinct branch of Islam.
And how does that affect me as a tourist on the ground?
It places a huge emphasis on tolerance, on pacifism, and on quiet, humble living. It's a big part of why Oman is so politically neutral, that Switzerland tag again. And it directly explains the safety. Crime isn't just illegal. It is seen as deeply, deeply shameful socially. There's an incredibly high social contract of trust.
What about the experience for women travelers? We hear so many mixed things about travel in the Middle East in general.
Oman is often cited by solo female travelers as a sanctuary. The women I've spoken to who have traveled there extensively say the biggest difference is what they call the gaze.
The staring.
The constant staring, the catcalling. In some other countries in the region and elsewhere, it can be relentless. In Oman, men will generally avert their eyes. It's a sign of respect. They maintain a respectful distance. They won't engage with you unless you engage them first. It feels very private and very safe.
But that respect, I imagine, requires reciprocity. Which brings us to the dress code.
This is the #1 question people ask, and it comes down to a simple distinction. Legal versus social. Legally, you can wear shorts and a t-shirt, you won't get arrested.
But socially?
Socially, you're being a bit rude. If you walk into a hypermarket in short shorts and a tank top, people won't say anything to you. They are far too polite for that, but they will feel uncomfortable. You are, in a small way, breaking the harmony of their sanctuary.
So what's the recommended uniform for a respectful tourist?
It's easy. Just cover your shoulders and cover your knees. Loose linen trousers are your best friend. T-shirts are fine. For women, you do not need to wear a headscarf unless you are actually entering a mosque. But having a light pashmina or scarf in your bag is always a good idea, just in case.
It's a bridge.
Yeah.
It's a nonverbal signal that says, I see your culture and I respect it.
Exactly. And in return for that small gesture, you get this incredible warmth and hospitality.
Speaking of hospitality and culture, let's talk about the specific highlights. Where do we actually go to see this culture in action? What are the unmissable spots?
The crown jewel, without a doubt, is the Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque.
I feel like every capital city in the region has a grand mosque. What makes this one special?
It's the atmosphere. It is absolutely enormous. It can hold 20,000 worshippers at once, but it doesn't feel imposing or overwhelming. It feels serene. The architecture is designed to create a sense of peace. And of course, it has these incredible features like a massive chandelier that's 14 meters tall, made of Swarovski crystals. And it has the second largest hand-woven carpet in the entire world.
Second largest. Who beat them?
Abu Dhabi beat them with the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. But that story is so perfectly Omani. They built theirs. It was the biggest in the world. Then Abu Dhabi built an even bigger one, and Oman just shrugged. They didn't engage in a rivalry or try to outdo it. They were content.
And you mentioned the people there are a highlight.
Yes. If you go, make sure you go early, around 8:30 in the morning. There's an Islamic information center there, and the volunteers, just regular Omani men and women, are there specifically to chat with visitors. They offer you dates and coffee. It's not a sermon. It's not a conversion attempt. It is just a conversation. It breaks down so many stereotypes in the space of 10 minutes.
That sounds absolutely lovely. Now, for the nature lovers, my research kept pointing me towards Yiti Beach.
Yiti is the classic Muscat escape. It's about a 40-minute drive from the city center, and the drive itself is spectacular.
Is it a resort beach with facilities?
No, and that is the absolute beauty of it. It is wild. There are no sunbeds, no umbrellas, no cafes. It is just a massive sweeping bay with those jagged mountains crashing right into the sea.
So what is the activity? What do you do there?
The activity is the BBQ. This is a rite of passage for anyone visiting. You go to a hypermarket like a Lulu or a Carrefour, and you buy one of those cheap disposable grills for about $5. Then you go to the fish counter, and you buy fresh fish, maybe some local sea bream or kingfish. You get some marinade, and you drive to Yiti.
And you just set up and cook right on the beach.
You cook on the beach as the sun goes down, the mountains turn this deep, dusty purple, the water turns silver, and you are sitting there eating the freshest grilled fish you have ever had in your life for a total cost of about $20. It's $1 million view for pocket change.
That sounds completely unbeatable, but
Yeah.
we promised the contrarian truth. We have to talk about the disappointments,
Yeah.
the potential tourist trap.
We have to, and it kind of hurts me to say this because it's so iconic, but the Mutra Souk.
Really? But that's on every postcard. I've read it's one of the oldest markets in the Arab world.
It is historically significant, and the architecture is very cool, that dark wooden beamed roof. But in 2026, it has essentially become a cruise ship terminal.
Ah, the curse of the cruise ship.
Exactly. When a cruise ship is in port, the souk is just packed shoulder to shoulder with people. And the goods, you look closely, a lot of those Omani antiques and daggers are mass-produced in factories in Asia. The plastic toys, the cheap pashminas, it just feels very commercialized now.
So if I want to buy something authentic, like high-quality frankincense or a real silver khanjar, the traditional dagger, where do I go?
You can still find them in Mutra, but you have to dig deep into the back alleys and find the older shops away from the main drag. Or, better yet, you wait and go to the markets in Nizwa, where the goods are made for locals, not for tourists.
Okay, we'll get to Nizwa in a second. Are there any other big disappointments in Muscat itself?
I would say the Sieb Corniche.
I've seen photos of this. It looks like a really nice waterfront walk.
It looks nice in photos, but remember what we said about the car culture. People in the Sieb area love to cruise, so they drive their cars up and down the waterfront road very slowly for hours with the windows down and music playing.
So you're basically taking a walk next to a slow-moving traffic jam.
You're breathing exhaust fumes. It's noisy. It is not the peaceful seaside stroll that you're imagining. It's a place for people to show off their cars.
Good to know. So skip Sieb, go to Yiti.
Exactly. 100%.
So we've established that Muscat is great, but it definitely has its limitations. You called it a base camp earlier.
Yes. I think that's the healthiest way to think about it. If you fly all the way to Oman and you only stay within the city limits of Muscat, you have fundamentally missed the point of the country. Muscat is the launch pad.
Okay, so where are we launching to? What are the essential trips from this base camp?
Two main directions, really. You go inland for culture, and you go south along the coast for nature and adventure.
Let's start with inland. You've mentioned Nizwa a few times.
Nizwa is about an hour-and-a-half drive from Muscat, and it's a world away. It's the old capital of the interior. This is where the historical heart of Oman really beats.
What makes it feel so different from Muscat?
It's more conservative, much more historic. It's dominated by this massive circular fort, the Nizwa Fort, which is incredibly well preserved and amazing to explore. But the real highlight, the thing you have to see, is the Friday goat market.
Goat market.
It sounds chaotic, and it is. Early on a Friday morning, farmers from all over the surrounding mountains bring their goats and their cows to this outdoor arena. They parade them in a circle. People are shouting bids. It is loud. It smells like livestock. It's dusty. It is the most real, unfiltered cultural experience you will see.
That is a stark contrast to the polite, hushed silence of Muscat.
Exactly. That's why you have to go,
Yeah.
to see that other side of the country's personality.
And the other direction from Muscat, you said south?
South, towards the city of Sella. But there is a huge caveat here, a massive one.
It has to be the right season.
Yes. Salal is way down in the south, near the border with Yemen. For 9 months of the year, it's a pretty standard dry, rocky beach town. But from July to September, something magical happens. They call it the Kharif.
The monsoon.
The tail end of the Indian monsoon just clips the mountains around Sala, and this dry, brown desert landscape transforms into a lush, green, misty jungle. Waterfalls appear out of nowhere. Camels are just walking through these green, foggy
The
meadows.
pictures look like Scotland or Hawaii. It doesn't look like Arabia at all.
It is unbelievable. It's a true natural wonder, but only in those 3 months. If you go in February, it is just brown. So don't be fooled by those incredible Instagram photos if the dates don't match up.
That's a crucial tip. So let's put this all together for someone. I have 7 days. I've booked my flight. I want to see it all. Give me the ideal loop itinerary.
Okay, get your pen out. This is what I call the golden loop. It's the perfect taste of Oman.
Day 1.
Day 1, you land in Muscat. You pick up your 4x4 rental. You check into a hotel in Shadi Al Khorm to get your bearings. You decompress. Maybe go to the Grand Mosque in the late morning. Day 2 is your prep day. You go to a hypermarket. You stock up on water, snacks, anything you need for the road. Then in the evening, you do that Yiddy Beach BBQ we talked about for a perfect Muscat sunset.
Day 3.
You hit the road. You start driving south along the coast towards the town of Sur. On the way, you stop at Wadi Shab.
Wadi Shab, that's the really famous hike.
Yes, it's the iconic one. You take a little boat across a river, then you hike for about 45 minutes up the canyon, and at the end, you have to swim through some pools into a hidden cave that has a waterfall inside it. It's pure adventure. You sleep in Sur that night.
Day 4.
Wake up early and go to the turtle reserve at Ras Al Jins, which is near Sur. You can watch the giant green turtles hatching at dawn. Then you turn inland. We're going to the desert, the Wahiba Sands.
Are we sleeping in a tent?
Glamping, more like it. You stay in a desert camp. You go dune bashing in the 4x4. You watch the sunset over these massive 100-meter-high dunes. The silence out there is heavy. It's almost spiritual.
Day 5.
You drive out of the desert and you head straight up into the mountains. To Jebel Shams, the Grand Canyon of Arabia. Or Jebel Akhdar, the Green Mountain.
Is it actually cold up there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of summer, you'll need a jacket at night. The views from the canyon rim are vertigo-inducing. It's a complete change of scenery.
Day 6.
You come down the mountain and you spend the day in Nizwa. You explore the fort. You wander through the souk. You buy your dates, your spices, your pottery. This is your culture day.
And day 7.
Day 7 is an easy, straight 2-hour drive back to Muscat on the highway. You drop off the car, carefully checking for any surprise speed ticket bills, and you fly out that evening.
That sounds like a perfect week. It literally has everything. Ocean, mountains, desert, and city culture.
It is, in my opinion, the best road trip in the entire Middle East, hands down.
But, and there is always a but, we have to be brutally honest. Is this trip for everyone? Let's go back to our verdict matrix and give some final advice.
It is definitely not for everyone, and it's better to know that before you book.
Okay, backpackers, we touched on this already.
It's a hard pass, unless you are extremely resilient and you're willing to try hitchhiking, which is actually quite safe there, but very unreliable. It is just too expensive and too isolating. Your money goes so much further elsewhere.
What about families with children?
It really, really depends on your kids. If your kids need Disney World, constant stimulation, animatronics, and kids clubs, they will be bored to tears. But if your kids like climbing rocks, swimming in natural pools, and are okay with some long car rides, they will think it's the greatest adventure of their lives.
It's an analog vacation. You have to make your own fun.
That's a perfect way to put it. It is an analog vacation.
Couples.
Yes. A huge yes, especially if you're over the party destination phase of your life. It's romantic in a very rugged, adventurous way. Sitting on top of a silent sand dune watching the stars is better than any nightclub.
And the luxury traveler?
100% yes. The high-end resorts there are world-class and offer a kind of privacy and quiet that is very hard to find anymore. If you have the money, Oman will take incredibly good care of you.
So to summarize the overall value proposition for us,
I'd say it's high value for quality, but low value for quantity. The quality of the infrastructure is amazing. The safety is amazing. The quality of the natural sites is amazing. But you're not ticking off 50 sites a day like you would in Rome. You're seeing one amazing thing, and then you're driving for 2 hours in silence to see the next amazing thing.
it sounds like a place that actively forces you to slow down, whether you want to or not.
That is the mission of the place. You have to shift your entire travel expectation from conquering a city to just inhabiting it.
I love that phrase, inhabiting the silence.
It's a sanctuary. I think we were all so overstimulated in 2026. Oman is the antidote to that, provided provided you respect the heat.
And speed cameras.
And the speed cameras. Never, ever forget the speed cameras.
So, a final thought for the listener, something for them to chew on as we wrap up.
I want you to think about the concept of politeness as a national resource. We talk about a country's oil reserves or its water, but in Oman, politeness is a tangible natural resource. It makes everything smooth, it makes everything safe, but it's fragile. And as tourists, we can erode that resource if we're loud, if we're aggressive, if we're demanding. So if you do go, my advice is to try to match their frequency. Be quiet, be patient, be respectful, and just watch how the entire country opens up to you in return.
That's beautiful. Match the frequency.
Exactly. That's the key.
Well, that is our dispatch on Muscat and Oman. Pack your sunglasses, download your offline maps, and maybe leave the short shorts at home for this one.
Safe travels. See you on the road.
Catch you next time.